Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so I look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 Career Mode, episode number 125 today for the Spanish Grand Prix in Season 7. And we come here for the first time now with some brand new parts fitted to the car. We've got two major upgrades to the engine and the aerodynamics there. So, major drag reduction and a major power boost to the engine, which will see us pretty much just about get ahead of Ferrari. I mean, we're literally talking a pixel or so on that right-hand side shot, but we are ahead of Ferrari now on paper. Obviously, in the actual races is a different matter. Ferrari have been way down the order in the races so far, and clearly, obviously, Force India and Renault right up there. But in terms of on the actual R&D chart itself, you can see there we've made a huge leap up now to the Spanish Grand Prix. Of course, we purchased those upgrades back at the Chinese Grand Prix, and due to us obviously not having the R&D efficiency there, it took 4 races for these upgrades to come in. But they're finally there, and that's hopefully going to be a huge hit and advantage, especially this Grand Prix. Obviously, Spain, very all about the cars, aerodynamics in the corner, about just how much speed you're able to carry in the corners. And so the fact that we've got power and a drag update means I can just technically run higher wings and not have it be such a disadvantage to me on the straights, because we've got that extra hit of power and also that drag reduction, which is obviously going to help out on the overtaking matter. Obviously, the run through the last corner, the AI pretty damn good through there, but if we can get a good enough exit and then we can just get in that toe and slipstream, that drag reduction upgrade is going to be very, very helpful. We've seen that many times before in the previous seasons. The drag updates are actually really powerful when you get in the slipstream. It effectively turns in what is usually quite a difficult overtake to make with these 2017 cars into quite an easy affair, depending on how much power you've got. And obviously with the Mercedes car, the works car, and now with the extra upgrade of engine power, we've got plenty of it. So hopefully that will put us in good stead for the race ahead. But before we get to that, obviously we have to go through qualifying, and it's overcast at the moment, so I don't know, maybe some rain will come towards the end. For now though, when we start qualifying, it's going to be dry, so we're on our first flying lap here, and across the line it's not going to be good enough. We definitely have a lot of time to find here on the second flying lap. We have time to do that, of course, so we do go out for that second flying lap now into turn 1. At the moment, all green there, so broke a little bit later into turn 1. Then as we go through up the hill in turn 3, actually lose some time, but then we're going to hopefully get it back in the brake zone. We'll see on the top right, we're going to go purple in the first sector and just about go green, and then by the time we get across the line, we do go green and we go purple, and we go for provisional pole for the second time in a row, and it is going to be eventually the actual pole position there. But you can see by such fine margins compared to actually what Russia was, very, very fine margins between myself and Nico Hülkenberg there, less than 100th. So it's going to be a close race once again. Obviously, Russia it wasn't close actually. Hülkenberg, once he got us, he actually had the pace just a waltz away from us. I'm hoping it will be a close race as qualifying suggests it. Off pole again, Hülkenberg second. So I'm hoping the scenario doesn't come up again. I think I'm going to be a lot stronger around Spain, to be honest. It's a much better track for me in terms of the race pace that we have, and so I'm feeling a bit more confident to hopefully try and convert this to our first win of the season if we can help it. But let's go to the full grid then, and then we'll get into it.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Mercedes in pole position then, and starting alongside is Nico Hülkenberg. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel, Raikkonen, Perez, Palmer, and Esteban Ocon, Grosjean, Sainz, Daniel Kvyat, and Alonso, Magnussen, Massa, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Marcus Ericsson. Verline and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So onto the grid then, and looking at the race strategy, it's going to be a default 2-stop here with 2 sets of soft tyres and 1 set of hards. Not too sure really what we'll go with. I think I'm going to really just play this by the ear whilst we're in the race, because over the seasons we've done a career mode so far on this game, the strategy around Spain has varied quite a bit from car to car and from season to season really. So we'll just see how it goes, but off pole, let's just focus on getting a good start and hopefully leading by the time we get to turn 1 as we go now towards 5 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix. Round number 5 of season 7 is underway. His lights are out, and it is a slowish start for us compared to Nico Hülkenberg. He gets a good one there on the right hand side, but up into Rich Mix straight away. We're going to squeeze Nico towards the right hand side. He's got the lead by just a nose, but into the brake zone for turn 1. Round the outside there, we'll hang it into the inside of turn 2, and we'll get it. As we open up the steering wheel, we're back into the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, and with a waft of dirty air behind us, Hulkenberg has lost a bit of time. He's had to lift off, and Verstappen is close behind him there in P3. And as we move on to the end of lap 1, Verstappen is right up his gearbox there. No DRS yet, but that Red Bull's got the slipstream. You can see Hulkenberg and Verstappen both follow me to the right-hand side of the circuit as I tried to break the toe, but both of them follow me for the slipstream. And it's going to be Verstappen round the outside of turn 1. Bit of contact made there with the Dutchman and the German, but Verstappen round the outside then of turn 3. It's a great move for him, and he's up into P2. Hulkenberg P3, now Ricciardo P4, and Hamilton rounds at P5. You can see P2 to P5 all bunched up in a bit of a train, and now we move on to lap 3, setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix now. So finding our feet very early on in the Spanish Grand Prix. We had to do, get the dirty work done straight away into turn 1 already, but now I can concentrate on the speed. And now as we move on to lap 4, trying to break the toe from Verstappen, you can see moving aggressively to the right hand side of the circuit. Verstappen follows me though. He's got DRS open. He's on the left hand side. We're going to go defensive into turn 1. We're going to have to try and outbrake him in the second phase of the brake zone. We have done so as we hit the apex for turn 2. I'm going to keep P1 for now, but definitely having to go very aggressive to break that toe, despite the drag reduction, despite the engine power. Obviously, we're running a bit higher wings. I think I want to say 8.8 or 9.9 here, so very aggressive on the wings, but that's to get the downforce in the corners to hopefully aid my tyre wear. It does mean, though, we have to go aggressive to break the toe because these guys are pretty damn good in a straight line. But now you can see Hulkenberg tries to make a move on Verstappen, so that's going to help me out. If those two fight, I can get away, just like we saw back at the Bahrain Grand Prix when it was a Ferrari, I think it was, and the Force India fighting back at Bahrain, but now it's the Renault and the Red Bull car, and those two fighting is going to really help us. But at the moment, Verstappen's been able to keep it ahead. But as we moved on later into the Grand Prix, now lap 10 this is, and Hulkenberg has made his pit stop, as well as now you can see on the top left Verstappen, and so it leaves at the moment a 1-2 for Mercedes for now. But as we move on to lap 12 now, Hamilton and myself were showing good pace, but now Hamilton looks to be a bit more comfortable on these tyres as they start to really wear out compared to me. You can see 72% on the rear left tyre, and I'm going to come in now 1 lap earlier, I think, than Hamilton. I would probably think he's going to come in on the very next lap now, and we come in and we're going to strap on a set of hard tyres. Now this is going to open me up to potentially a very audacious 1-stop or the default 2-stop, but just switching around when I use the second set of soft tyres. It was soft, soft, hard. I might now go soft, hard, soft, or, as I said, it could go all the way to the end on these hard tyres. It's going to be a bit of an ask, but I think it could be possible. But as we come out the pit lane, we've got bigger problems to worry about. We've got the Force India of Esteban Ocon, I think that is, on the outside of turn 1, and we just about get that. We went really late on the brakes then out of the pit lane, and we've just got ahead, and that's crucial to get the clean air on him. And sorry, that wasn't even Ocon, it was Sergio Perez. It's hard to tell because their bloody helmets are so similar really from the top down view from off board. But now we move on to lap 14, and now Hamilton coming out of the pit lane. It looks like he's got actually an overcut on us here, and so can we try and feed this around the outside? It's going to be even closer than Perez there into turn 2. Oh, so close on the right hand side, but then we get the power down through turn 3, and we're around the outside, and we have got it, and we're up into P3. And again, that is crucial to get the clean air, because Hamilton on soft tyres, Perez on soft tyres, both would have been a real big problem for me if they got ahead of us. Because at the moment in the lead of this Grand Prix is Hulkenberg, Verstappen is in second, and effectively I am going 1 stop less potentially than those two, so I need to make sure that my pace is good enough that by the time those two pit, they are going to fall behind me, and then we can just get track position and defend our position. So we're pushing quite hard now on lap 16. We are actually rapidly catching up to Verstappen now, who's on mediums. I believe Hulkenberg's gone for soft tyres, so he's gone for the default, what my strategy would have been. Verstappen an alternative on the mediums, and by the time we get to lap 17, into turn 1, through turn 3, he's going very, very slowly actually. We get the power right down, full throttle here, and on the right hand side to the inside at the end of sector 1, we've got that. And so Verstappen, I don't know, medium tyres falling off the cliff, maybe he's in lean mixture for now, but we definitely did catch him quite rapidly, from lap 14 to lap 17, the time just kept tumbling and tumbling. Not just for me, you can see clearly there, you can see Hamilton darting around, and also Perez and his teammate Ricciardo in the background there, a whole train of cars now, 4-car train there. And Verstappen, I think he's definitely got issues here. It is, and now we can see Hamilton in the mirrors trying to make a move again, and Verstappen doing a decent enough job to defend from my teammate actually. That's good for me, obviously. If Hamilton's down, the order makes my job easier in terms of staying ahead of my teammate there. But now look at that. Oh, Ricciardo was down the inside of Hamilton into the long right-hander. He's got a bit impatient waiting for him. So that means Ricciardo just made a double overtake, not only on Perez, but then Hamilton. And now he might overtake his teammates. They go through the chicane on the exit into the last corner. And you can see there the amount of traction Ricciardo's got on his teammate there. For sure, I think Verstappen's tyres are actually off. I don't think it's even a case of maybe a problem in the car. I think his tyres are just way off. I think he's just kind of chewed them up. Kind of like Mark Webber-esque, kind of, you know, comparing Webber to Vettel when they were both in the Red Bull cars. Just Verstappen not doing a great job on the tyres there. And you can see Hamilton round the outside as well of turn 2. And Verstappen is really falling away in this Grand Prix now. And you can see we're talking about Nico Hülkenberg earlier in this race. He's made his second pit stop now. He finds himself now behind the train of the 2 Ferrari cars who are now catching up to Verstappen. There goes Ricciardo at the bottom of your screen. Then Hamilton, Perez, and then Verstappen still defending from the 2 Ferraris. And now Hülkenberg closing up on both of them. He's already made his second pit stop now. So I am into the lead of this Grand Prix once again. And now is pretty much the decision I've made that I'm going to go to the end. As we go across the line to lap 23, I'm going to go to the end now. I'm committing to this. It's a big commitment, but I think it's going to be the one that could win us this Grand Prix now, because I don't have the pace to match Hülkenberg on a 2-stop. But saying that, the car is feeling very good on these hard tyres, and I feel like I do have good enough pace on the hards right now to keep Hülkenberg at bay. He is also on hard, so he's literally done the default strategy that I was set, the 2 sets of soft tyres to the hard tyres. Hamilton on an alternative strategy of mediums now at the end of this race, so we'll see. I don't know, hopefully he will have enough pace on that softer compounded tyre to catch up to Hülkenberg, because it could be then a pretty awesome 1-2 for Mercedes, but I do think Hülkenberg is going to have the pace, and he's probably going to pressurise us towards the end of this race, so I need to psych myself up to, you know, defend that position at the end, and I'm going to save some fuel tactically where I can, you know, going lean mixture when I can, and then going rich on the main straights to try and use that performance of the brand new engine upgrade. But you can see onto lap 27 now, as we get onto the actual tail end of this Grand Prix, still going green and finding personal best lap times here on these hard tyres, and we've been on them since lap 13, so that's a positive sign. You're about to see, actually, if you go on to the end of sector 1 now on lap 27, we go purple in the first sector, so clearly actually still got a lot of you know, pace in the tank there on the rubber. And to say Hülkenberg is going to be on so much fresher hard tyres for now, you would say he's actually disappointingly not as fast as we probably thought he would be. But now we're focusing on our teammate Lewis Hamilton in 3rd place on those medium tyres, trying to catch Hülkenberg, but he's got, oh no, he's got major issues. He slows down, and there comes the Force India, Ferrari and Red Bull, and Hamilton, I think, oh, he's made contact with the Ferrari, and I think that's a right rear puncture. Yes, that is. If you look close enough, that tyre wall definitely is wobbling around, and Hamilton with a puncher with only a couple laps to go. Now that is a little bit worrying, because he's on medium and he's got a puncher, and he definitely came in a lot later because he did a 2-stop compared to me, so he came a lot later than I did, and he got a puncher. So this is maybe a little bit nerve-wracking now. We're in first still, but now you can see in the background there, looking behind me, Hülkenberg right up my gearbox now with 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and potentially, I don't know, maybe we're trying to fight off a puncher here, because we're going to have to drive a little bit tactically. And you can see now as we move on to lap 29, trying to stay off the curbing as much as I can, lifting off quite a fair bit up the hill, just trying to be nice and easy on these tyres. Also, again, saving the fuel where I can. Lean mixture in sector 3. We don't need rich mix in sector 3. Then back onto rich mix down the main straight to get away from Hülkenberg as we go off the final corner. As we move on to the last lap of the Grand Prix now, we're still ahead of Hulkenberg, and we're just maybe going to do this. 1 lap left, 1 nervous lap left to hopefully just nurse the car through and hopefully avoid a puncture that our teammate got, and still got some extra fuel in the tank if we need it right at the end of this. As we move on into sector 3, you can see we're just going very, very easy. I'm just bringing this home. It's going to be very difficult for Hulkenberg to overtake me in this sector, so don't need to take any unnecessary risks, and we just take it nice and calm. And actually, the funny thing is, I didn't check my tyre wear heads-up display screen ever since Hamilton got the puncher, because I just didn't dare to kind of see how bad or good it was, really. So as we come through the final corner, I finally look at it, and actually it only ended up being 49%, so I probably went overcautious, but I'd rather do that because we avoided the puncture, any kind of last minute dramas there, and we have come through, obviously, as you can see now, for the win of the Spanish Grand Prix, the first win of this season. That's going to be a really big key booster to our reputation there, but obviously just for me as well, on a personal level, great to be back on the top 7 of the podium, especially after last race, you know, on pole position for the Russian Grand Prix, and as soon as Hulkenberg overtook us, we just had no pace there, and that was a little bit disheartening. But here at Spain, we prevailed. Really good strategy there. 1 stop worked out really really, really well. You know, minus Hamilton's a little calamity there. Decent day for the team, I guess. You know, Hamilton has been pretty woeful this season so far. I've been their main breadwinner, even though I've been so toxic to them in terms of wanting to leave and making my intentions clear that I want to leave. But yeah, the win there, and that's going to be extending the lead of the World Drivers' Championship, and actually I helped drag Merc up above Red Bull and Ferrari 4th and 5th. So you can clearly see the old guard no longer in charge here. It's Force India that leads the way, Renault in 2nd, and Ferrari. I only noticed this race only, but the points gap from Ferrari to Red Bull is disgusting. Ferrari have been nowhere there. Vettel's been doing the only kind of okay job for them, and Raikkonen's just been woeful for that team. But now we move on to the reputation there. You can see a big swing for not only Ferrari but also Red Bull there, as well as Renault and Force India for the reputation level. So we'll see, you know, if we can hopefully continue that on and continue to build that reputation level as we move on towards the middle of the season. But as we go on to the end of the episode then, for you guys asking in the last episode, you know, are we going to do any more upgrades? I don't have enough points actually. The only we've only got major upgrades really left. I'm not going to do any of these minor ones because there's no point doing them. I want to do a major upgrade if I want to, and so we have to save up till at least 1,200 for one of those major upgrades. So for now, just saving the resource points, and as soon as we can do, probably next race, you would say, looking at the points tally in the top right, we can purchase another major upgrade. But guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, smash the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, and you can subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I hope you have. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time.